With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance redefined.
Hi, it's Dave here, and this is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies, but this week we are watching The Traitors Ireland, and we are going to be covering all 3 episodes of week 2. That's episodes 4, 5 and 6. There will be spoilers for this show, but if you're not watching it, go watch it on RTE. It is good fun.
And if you're our UK listeners who are listening along just because you're so thirsty for Traitors and you can't get it over there, continue listening. Love that people are listening who aren't even watching it. We watched episode 1 last night, so we're going to talk about it.
Episode
this morning.
4.
Sorry, episode 4. So it's Monday morning. We're going to talk about it on a walk. And then we'll come back tomorrow to cover episode 5.
Just be clear, tomorrow for us.
Yeah.
Mere moments
You're
for you.
getting this all Wednesday morning.
This is all 4, 5 and 6 episodes covered
and I
in
want
this
to say something about, I was looking on social media last night and also some DMs we've been getting. Traitors is a game, right? So much like if you were playing Monopoly and you landed on someone's hotel, you have to pay them rent.
Don't play Monopoly, there's much better board games available.
And if you're a traitor, you inherently have to A, lie and B, cast aspersions on other people. That's like the nature of the game.
Yeah.
So I think when people are messaging or commenting online and saying, you know, being a bit mean about people on the show because they've been lying or throwing shade on people. That's
literally the game.
It's literally the game. And I think we're very sympathetic because we've, as we mentioned last week, because we love the UK and US versions as well, we've watched loads of it. So we just totally see it as a game and a bit of crack. And I think some people might be taking it a bit seriously.
But also,
so I just say bear all that in mind, like it's a game. And I think from what I can tell, all the cast are actually seem to be very friendly with each other.
Yeah, and listen to what the contestants say when they get banished. Yeah. Almost everyone starts with, I know this is a game, you're wonderful people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's almost, you have to say that.
It just feels personal, of course, because no one wants to be lied to.
But that said, I think it's worth acknowledging that, well, it shows the power of the show. People are invested, and also it is the emotions of the show are incredibly heightened. Yeah. I'd imagine it is very stressful to be in that in the round table.
Oh my god. And also, if you haven't watched it before, like the very end, if there's a traitor and a faithful at the very end, there's a way for the traitor to take all the money. So if that happens, be kind to that traitor because they'll have just played the game. Now, on to episode 4. Dave, you have the notes.
Right.
We're out for a walk, sticking to our typical podcast format here. A bit tricky to read notes on a walk.
Let's start. No, it's not. We got this. Look, it's just like looking down at your phone while walking and crossing roads. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I'll look across.
You're my eyes and ears. Right, so let's start with, like all days, starts with breakfast. Right, so everyone's coming back in wondering, who's been murdered?
I love the breakfast speculation. So fun.
You love a bit of breakfast speculation.
I just love rules. I just love formats, and I just love how all these episodes follow the same pattern as well. Like, it's so familiar when you come back in, you know.
So I think the crucial incident that happens at breakfast here is Linda making such a huge mistake here by guessing that Michelle has been murdered when there's 10 people left to go.
It just like, and it's funny because last week we had pegged Linda as our dark horse and we thought she might win it. She flamed out.
Yeah, but I think she had such potential, and we'll get into Linda later. But like, seriously, she had 2 of the 3 traitors down pat,
and she knew what they were up to and she knew who they were going to have eliminated. But like, this is an example of where you need to keep it cool and
you could be too clever for your own good.
Not make predictions because most likely you're wrong, but if you're right, suddenly then everyone thinks you're the traitor.
This is such a minor slip up. It's like last week when Will said David was
Yeah,
instead
I
of David is a little too early. That's what these people are so thirsty for information and evidence that they will jump on anything. So I really don't. I think this was absolutely fair and right for all of them to jump on this because there's something. It is nothing, but there could have been.
If you're the traitor, you never say that, and all the traitors are sitting very tight-lipped.
But it could have been a traitor's slip of the tongue. It could have been.
No, because she deliberately. It wasn't a slip of the tongue like the is thing on Dave. She's like, I think so and so's been eliminated, unless she's so like.
If you're the traitor who knows
that she's double bluffing, but like I just think the traitors aren't going to say that. So if I was in there, I'd be like, she's not. The
traitors are sitting there. If you know who's been murdered, you're going to sit there saying any name but them.
Exactly. So it's not whenever they think something's evidence, it's usually direct opposite of evidence.
Yeah, you do have to think about it a little bit.
Where the was thing, I would still be convinced it was Wilkin.
So another incident that happened here was that all of the contestants seem to feel that Caitlin has lost the run of herself. She's gotten a little too cocky because Caitlin reveals the shield. She has a quick chat with with John, who reveals that he gave it to her because she was quite upset and felt a bit vulnerable coming out of the round table. So it seems like John just was being a nice guy.
Yeah, very nice.
And looking out for her. That's the reason he gave it to her.
I'd be very happy if there was like a fire in my vicinity and he came to put it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think he's from Youghal, which is not, East Cork, not too far from us.
Yeah.
So let's, fingers crossed, maybe we could start some fires.
Our house is on fire and he shows up and we're like,
John,
give
so
us an
good
autograph.
to see you.
And he's like, please vacate the premises. Also, who asks for autographs? And there was something else here as well, wasn't there? So they thought she'd been a bit cocky with the shield, and I love when Christine from Cork was like, she's a bit cocky. And then she also says...
Cork. People don't like now people getting above their station.
Remember she said someone else was accused last night. Who was it?
Oh, yeah. So Caitlin goes over to Christine and asks her what Michelle had some ominous words. And I think it was Linda.
It was. But they thought Caitlin was being too cocky running over even asking that question. You can't get anything right here. By the way, I think everyone's casting aspersions on everyone. It's just in the edit they're showing us, particularly when it happens about the traitors.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was all great
I think
crack.
people didn't like when Caitlin got up, showed that she had did her little sort of stagey reveal of look at my shield.
But you need
people
everyone
don't like
to know
that.
You had the shield though.
I know. Well, listen, like we've said previously, you cannot win in this show.
Yeah.
No, you can't win. You're either too cocky or you're not cocky enough.
Or
you're either too quiet or you're too loud.
I don't know what I'd have done differently in that situation other than be like, I have the shield.
Nothing. There's and as much as you can strategize and have a game plan, and we can armchair analyze this and say, well, I wouldn't have done that. You could just being a person in this house is chaos, and any slight move, if you blink too hard, if you drink a glass of water at the wrong time, or look down at the table for more than 5 seconds,
this is why I admire anyone
gone.
So much who goes on it, because I could never go on it. I would just crumble and fall
it's
apart.
grueling. And also I think you just have to detach yourself from the fact that a lot of this is just out of your control. And Michelle, I think, when she in her exit interview, when she receives the murder letter, acknowledges that a lot of this was happening in her head. She says she was playing mind games with herself, which we were talking about last week, when she seems to have placed herself in the center of all these elaborate conspiracies that didn't exist.
Nina wasn't even a traitor.
Yeah. So that's breakfast. Let's get on to some post-breakfast plotting, because this is when you between breakfast and challenge, you have your mid-afternoon snack and challenge, and in between that is some plotting.
You've 2 rounds of plotting. You've before the challenge, you've after the challenge, then you've got the round table, and then you all kind of regroup after that again. So it's a very intense day.
And then the poor old traitors have to keep on going for their murdering.
You're supposed to be so tired.
Exhausting. I thought Linda looked very tired in this episode. I felt for her.
Yeah.
Plotting, right? So Caitlin, it's basically Caitlin versus Linda going on. Linda's doing. I like to see this. I think the Irish contestants are doing a good job of trying to gather votes. Yeah. And we saw a lot of this in the American one. I felt like the Brits in season 3 anyway were like, there wasn't a lot of that. They were kind of being a bit careful with each other, and I expected to see the same with the Irish. I thought everyone would be too respectful, but there's a lot of people are just going for it. Like, I'm voting for this person.
I love when
you need
Eamon's
to
like,
vote for them too.
Eamon's like, I'm dropping Paddy into every conversation.
I thought Eamon was great TV in this.
He's so good.
He's great. He's just straight. He is King Soundbite.
Yeah,
on this episode.
He is.
He's just like, Paddy needs to go. He's messing up. I'm coming for him. I'm sowing the seeds. So it's Caitlin v Linda, basically. Both their names are being thrown around. They're going around whispering about each other. Eamon's talking Paddy up at the water cooler, trying to get Nick involved. And he's making a bit of progress. So you can feel, even before we got to the round table, you just knew, especially after the Caitlin v Paddy moment from last week, that
So
like
good.
Paddy and Caitlin are going to be facing some heat.
I don't know if the IFTAs do like TV moment of the year, but like these scenes with the Traitors will have to win. Like they're just so good.
The scene at the end of this episode
Just
with the three
every
of them.
scene at this point
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Traitors turning on each other. So quick.
So let's go to the challenge. So this week's challenge, or this episode's challenge, is in a church with creepy masks, and they have to get some clues in a book, and then find the matching symbol and whatever in the audience. Whatever.
Like they skipped over. We didn't have to watch too much of it because obviously it's not like interesting to watch particularly.
I thought the hardest bit of this challenge, and we were playing along at home, was when Siobhan gives you the clues, which is the page 306, column 4, line 12. And I have
couldn't
never
remember it.
empathised harder with Christine from Cork, when she's trying to recount it back to her, something she's just moments ago heard, and cannot do it because our brains are so mushy from smartphones and the internet that we cannot retain the simplest of information in our
I
heads
would never have
for more than
remembered.
5 seconds.
The people who were volunteering saying I have really good memory, I was laughing at them because I was like, do you though? But most of them did remember and guess it. I like the visuals of this challenge with everyone with the masks and like in the church, and I
it's great.
love
It's great.
Siobhan up at the top of the altar. Like, she's so theatrical, and like her clothes were so cool in this episode. So this challenge had the fun twist of do you get €800 or do you get shield? And this is where I was surprised, because I just think you could say, listen, I wanted the shield, I don't want to get murdered, and I think people would have respected that, but none of them took that route.
I think,
Very strange. Like, it's only €800.
we saw different approaches, right?
And I'm not saying that €800 isn't a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of what you could win in these challenges, it's not like you're costing people $5,000 or something.
I was
you know?
surprised nobody took the shield, honestly.
Yeah,
But
it's kinda
there
boring.
were different approaches to the captains coming out. I think John offered up the information straight away. This is what she said, and I rejected it. Christine.
John seems
did the
very
same.
solid guy.
There was Caitlin made a slip up here because she didn't say anything, and then kind of kept it, and then kind of had to backtrack later, and that. But she kind of managed to get her way out of that.
If she'd taken the shield, though, I think she should have taken the shield and told them, because a traitor wouldn't need a shield.
Yes.
So I think she should have taken the shield and said, look, I'm so
I
sorry,
just really
lads.
need this because I feel like I'm going to get murdered tonight.
I just feel like, Linda's coming after me, and if she's a traitor, she's going to murder me because I'm onto her. You know what I mean? I would have liked to see that. It's just a little bit boring when they're all such goody two-shoes.
Well, it was. So what it resulted. I think the idea of this challenge to sow, and we'd been saying this last week, that the challenges needed a little bit of this.
Yeah.
I think sowing distrust and allowing for some room for deception was a genius idea. Now, none of them took it
and
in
also
the end.
that they
but-
to kneel down in front of Siobhan was just
I mean,
really
it's
funny.
funny visual, but but there's a long gap between them being sent into a room solo and Siobhan revealing at the round table that nobody took the shield. So in that gap, we get Inspector Clouseau steps up.
What was that?
I think Paddy is in a moment where he can feel the scrutiny, and actually I think Oyen as well at the round table kicks off the round table straight away. So that's two people who've been criticised
she doesn't-
previously for not saying enough are now trying to compensate.
Okay, but firstly, love that Owen came straight for Eamon. But secondly, Paddy, when he goes, I'm going to lock you all in. I've been retired 15 years, but I haven't forgotten how to lock a door. He's like, what are you talking about? I know, because he worked in a prison, right? So he's making a joke about that. But like, I just love it. To me, he didn't seem like that odd in all of it, but everyone like off camera was like, what is Paddy doing? So the energy of that meeting must have been very strange.
Well, listen,
I
okay.
enjoyed it. I love the chaotic nature of Paddy.
I agree with you. It didn't look that crazy on TV, but try and put yourselves in their shoes where you get home from the challenge, you're tired. All you want to do is go in and make 49 cups of tea for the entire house. And you enter a room and you're told nobody can leave by an individual. Now, no matter whether it was Paddy or anybody else, whoever decides to be that person is going to get so much shit and heat.
Why are you like, do not draw attention on yourself?
Exactly. It's not even suspicion. I think it's misguided frustration can often come out with like, you're annoying me now,
well,
so
you're
I'm
an
going
adult
to
as well.
suspect you.
Like, I'm not in prison, actually. You're not a prison guard. You can't tell me what to do. But like, it just got all like, really chaotic. I know what he was up to, but
I enjoyed
it was so fun.
We didn't see enough of it. I would watch the entirety of that meeting because it had the energy of, do you remember in lockdown that you have no authority here, Jackie Weaving.
Oh my God.
Council meeting from it had that energy,
Yeah.
and they were trying to. He's pointing like, stop now, team, and they couldn't figure out like team 3, who was the team leader? No, we were team 2, and there was just like watching a group of people try to coordinate their names and who said what.
And was he deliberately
and when.
trying to rat on Caitlin? I think he was deliberately trying to make her look bad.
I don't.
Because Eamon said, "I told you, Caitlin." Later on, Eamon says, I told you Caitlin was the one who went in from their group.
I don't know what his plan was.
I think he was trying to oust Caitlin. I loved it. The stuff with Paddy and his son is it's confusing for me. Because it seems like the son is like, well, if Dad's a traitor, I'd have to vote him out. It's like, no.
What are you talking about, Andrew?
If your Dad's a traitor, you try and ride it out till the end with your dad, because if
he's
going to
keep you in it, man.
But
who
also,
do you think has got your back in there?
But also, if you're the last two, you either win it together, or if he's a traitor, he'll win it all. And he's your dad. Surely he'll give you a kickback.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just don't understand in any way. Unless they're making him say that and he doesn't really mean it and there's a soundbite. That's
what I was about to say. That's the producer. He's only saying these things in the talking head camera room, right?
Yeah.
So the producer is pushing him towards that answer. Like, what if your dad were a traitor? What would you do?
Yeah,
and
just
then
doesn't make
comes the
sense.
answer. Well, I suppose, and they'll push him. I've worked with these producers on the other side. They are trying to get a soundbite, and they'll find a way to get it.
If he's going to vote for him, like, it just wouldn't make any sense. But I enjoyed it, absolute madness. I enjoyed Eamon shit talking him off camera. I enjoyed how much he's annoying Caitlin.
Eamon says, if I'm left on my own with Paddy, I can't think of anything worse. Which is.
But Paddy later on is dead right, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but like Eamon goes, look, everyone was saying your name, what was I supposed to do? And Paddy goes, yeah, but you could have given me a heads up. And that is so true. Like you don't fine, I understand that there's a point where you have to like go along with the crowd in this game, but like you can totally give someone a heads up so that they can like mount a defence for themselves.
Well, it's clear why he didn't. Like, Eamon doesn't want Paddy there, and he wants rid of him. So
I think Eamon
he's not going to say that to him later.
And when Paddy said it's not personal, but you could have given me a heads up, I was like, fair play, Paddy, you're dead right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, he's right to confront him.
Yeah.
But anyway, you are getting ahead. Let's go to the round table, right? So quite an eventful round table here.
There was we were like, God, it's only 10 o'clock and they're kicking to the round table. It's going to be a long one. Also, this challenge was just faster. I was so glad it wasn't a physical challenge. They eat up screen time, and I feel bad for everyone doing them. So this was my kind of vibe, just nip along the challenge and give us a way longer round table, because that's the bit we're all waiting for.
So Linda goes straight. Well, Oyen jumps in on Eamon, which was her sort of. He jumped on her last week. There's nothing really going there. Nobody else seems to be biting on either of them.
Yeah, but he deserves it, because last week he jumped on her.
For no reason, seemingly. I don't know what's going on with them behind the scenes, but they don't seem to like each other.
I think he was just picking on her because he thought she was weak, so I love then that she's like, well, actually, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, she's fighting back.
And first in, so I'd love to see it.
A lot of it is revenge voting.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel. Linda goes, Linda's been saying all day, I've been sitting on this theory about Caitlin, and I'm finally going to go for it.
She was like, I'm finally going to come, but then she came with no evidence.
But there is no evidence.
Now, she could have said a few bits about the shield or about the Paddy fight. I just don't think she mounted no campaign here.
That's the one thing which got lost in this round table, was like Caitlin says to Paddy, we spoke about that afterwards, you made that up and you admitted it to me. Mm-hmm. That you couldn't remember. So there's a clear, and somebody says it afterwards, that there is a lie existing between Caitlin and Paddy, and people have observed it. I don't know why people didn't drill in on that at this round table.
Well, see, the thing is, though, they might have, and they're not
And it
showing
got
it to
edited
us
out, yeah.
because they might want to save that for a different episode. So
Yeah,
you
of
never
course.
know.
So Linda goes for Caitlin, defends herself. Nick goes.
Yeah, and when you were saying Linda looked tired, she looked so tired. And you know, we saw
It's an
later
exhausting
on
show. Imagine being on it.
when she said in Traitors Uncloaked, which we love, which airs after, she said like there was a point where like her two best friends in there voted for her, and then she just kind of lost
So
the will.
demoralising,
And I
yeah.
know it's a game, and they're all playing the game, but you'd still be so
Oh, it
gutted.
still hurts,
Yeah.
for sure. And even I thought Nick goes here. Nick, who I've really warmed to, the guy who I falsely said was from D4 last week. Apologies. He's from very much a Wicklow man, it turns out.
Well, maybe he was
Nick-
born in D4 though. You don't know.
I don't know, but
You're
Nick.
just casting guesses and aspersions.
I'm really warming to him, even though I think he's
I really like him.
he's been murdered. I'd be
Do
amazed
you?
if they didn't murder him, because he is the right person to murder right now, because he seems to be quite astute.
Yeah, but he's Eamon's friend though, and I love when he goes, I think Paddy's a traitor because he's keeping me around, and I laughed because I was like, it's actually Eamon keeping him around.
Yeah.
And for anyone who watched the US one, that was so Boston Rob and Zac Efron's brother last year on the American one, where
Yes.
Boston Rob just kept him along because he did all his bidding, and Eamon even said, oh, he's useful to me.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And he goes for Linda and asks her to. I love when people ask people to defend themselves. And then he's like, "What? Explain your look when Nick had something on her, like."
He goes, explain your look at
Siobhan touched your shoulder.
Explain the
what was
look.
going through your head.
Explain the look when you were faithful. And
Yeah.
she's like, I was so happy because I only ever wanted to be faithful, and he's like, not good enough.
I love that. Yeah, this is what he said. That's not enough for me.
It wasn't good because
That's not gonna do it.
it wasn't like, do you know what, I think she was just so tired, and like she's obviously really smart, and then just all the social dynamics of this game must just get so intense, and eventually you just be like, right, whatever, like throw my hands up in the air, whatever.
And fair play to her. She's so vindicated on Traitors.
I
Uncloaked,
love
and
that,
just
yeah.
justifiably. That I think that was the reward for her.
I love when she said, I'm so glad I died on this hill. That was very funny.
Very good. She had some great lines.
Yeah,
I
she
think
was
she
very
was
good.
the one in the first episode or second who said, "Guys, David
is dead.
dead."
Yeah, that was her. So I think she got badly done by, but I think the fact that we had Caitlin, Paddy and Damon's on the board.
All
Now,
three.
I don't
yeah,
know that I've ever watched a season of this that I can remember where all three traitors' names.
are floated.
That's like a tongue twister for Irish people. All three
Good
traitors.
point.
Like, that's bad. Like, they're
It's
not. They're not
doing a good job.
And it's Eamon's fault his name's on the board because he came at Oyen for no reason last week. So that's why she's thrown his name up now, and now she's coming for
Exactly.
him.
We
if you're
said-
the traitor, you need to just
You go
quietly.
with you go. No, you see. We said this last week. You go with. You look at where the wind is moving, the mob, right? And you vote with the mob.
Or you do what
and you
Eamon's been
prompt
doing.
the mob.
He's been sowing seeds about Paddy. That's clever. You don't
Yes.
just come at the table and come at Oyen, who's like, "What are you talking
No,
about?"
because you just make an enemy.
Yeah,
And then they're
exactly.
going to come back at you, and then all Oyen's looking for is a slip up from Eamon
Exactly,
now,
yeah.
so that she can bring something to the table.
And so that you should either be silently sowing seeds, or you should be picking on something that they've done and jumped on it. But because Oyen never did anything, now she's just absolutely livid at him, which I don't blame
Yeah.
her for. So yeah, all three of them being on the board was very poor form.
And
we
it's-
thought for a while Paddy was going to be the one who was gone.
It did feel that way.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was clearly Paddy or Linda tonight, and
He's
Paddy
like-
is pissed. I was
So
interesting
pissed
seeing
off.
the fallout
Yeah.
from him, because I think he's feeling like his trade. I mean, I can imagine how that feels. The traitors have gone against him. The whole room is moving against him, and he is panicking. He's in panic mode.
And he's pissed, but he's like a phoenix from the ashes. Like, he survived another day when he probably should be gone. So I wonder if by the time
I
we
think
release
he'll be
this-
gone tomorrow.
By the time we release this episode, like, is he gone? I hope not. When I love when Linda left and she was like, "I'm a faithful," they were shook, like they're all
not-
convinced themselves.
They're not doing great.
And she's like, "Look where you're not looking now."
Anyway, yeah, her ominous.
I
thing.
think the only thing that I think about the exits in the Irish one is like, they're not as dramatic as in the English and US ones. Like, you know the way they kind of make you wait like ridiculously long. They'll make you wait like nearly 20 seconds before they say whether they were faithful or a traitor. But it means that everyone around the table is like dying, do you know? I just feel like it's not as dramatic as I'd like it to be. But when she left, they were all devastated, and then Siobhan's like, "You're all shit." And then we were just screaming for the three traitors to meet in the dungeons.
Which
and
was
they were so pissed.
an epic
It
confrontation.
was so good. And Bodhi's like, let me speak first. And he's like, I know it's not personal, but you should have given me a heads up. And then Eamon's talking, and then Caitlin goes, if you're going to talk over each other, we're not going to resolve it. And then Bodhi's like, so you're going to talk over me?
God, it was really tense.
It was so fun.
Like, I do think, like you said, off the back of this show, I think everybody will be able to let this tension dissipate and be pals and laugh about it all in retrospect. But in the moment when they're in that's gonna, you are gonna be so frustrated with this individual.
And as the Traitors, you should be like a well-oiled unit. You work together up until nearly the end, and then you start getting rid of each other. It's way too early for them not to be acting as a team.
Isn't it crazy? Like, all of this can be traced back, like the butterfly effect, to Paddy telling Andrew that to watch out for Caitlin, and him telling Caitlin. It's like it's actually his Andrew's fault, and he doesn't even realise it.
And like, it's just because otherwise, if it was the three of them against the world, they'd be so smart together. It's not happening.
Because they are good. They're all very good, and they have
smart
strengths.
Yeah.
But they are traitors divided, and I don't see a way out of it.
I think Eamon and Caitlin are going to gang up on Paddy.
For sure.
We're going to get off now, though. We will watch episode 5 tonight, and you'll hear all this on Wednesday morning, so you won't care. But who do you think's gone tonight then?
Paddy's going tonight. That's my prediction.
At the round table.
Eamon's coming back for him. Caitlin's coming back for him. He's a lot of heat on him. There's no one else with as much heat right now. So unless something significant,
might slip up at breakfast tomorrow.
Exactly. Unless something significant happens.
You never know what's going to happen over a croissant on this show. I think Paddy's going to live another day.
You think so? I love it. Okay.
Can't
who
wait.
do you think's going to go then? You
Tonight?
don't know. Hard to predict. And who do you think's murdered? Firstly,
I think
Nick's
the guy
murdered,
who was
I
up
think.
against Nina, Pat. I think he got off a bit clear today. I think Pat's coming back in the heat.
Okay. I don't
Paddy
think
says
so.
you said you're taking a day off today.
But that was Paddy. Bless Paddy. He had nothing.
Yeah, but
He had nothing to work with.
Like, that was decent. Like, that
It
was
wasn't
decent.
really.
Because there's still the question of the lie between him and Nina, which again everyone's forgotten about. In terms of the murdering, I agree with you. I think Nick. I think he's been murdered.
They'd be mad not
Except
to kill
that
Nick.
Eamon does want to have his little play thing. Anyway, we better go, and we will watch it tonight. I cannot wait.
Yeah, stay with us. We'll be back in just a second.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hi, we're back. A couple of days has passed. It's now Tuesday night. We have seen episodes 5 and 6 now. We're going to talk about episode 5 first. But quickly, I think it's worth saying that we don't even remember what our predictions were a few days ago, but they certainly weren't right.
And I'm so done to talk about episode 6, but of course we'll talk about episode 5 first.
We'll get to that.
Eamon's demise.
So, firstly, breakfast, episode 5. So Christine and the girls are in first, and they're on to Caitlin. It seems like the episode 5 and 6 seems to be just like, according to some of the guys, everybody knows it's Caitlin.
It
seems to be the world's worst kept secret at this point.
I think part of it is just like somebody said she looked like a zombie. I actually reckon you'd start to notice they're looking tired.
Yes, Patrick says that in episode 6.
Yeah.
He says that Caitlin and Andrew look tired.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. And Andrew
it's a good observation, and he was half right. And I can only imagine, we've said it all the time. It's exhausting. This show must be exhausting. It's extra exhausting for the Traitors, both mentally and physically, because they have to stay up late.
And you're always lying.
Past their bedtime.
Yeah, you're always lying.
Always lying, always trying to keep track of everything. So
yeah, and I think Caitlin keeps a very cool head and doesn't get caught up in lies at all. But just, it still must be very draining to be in that position.
She got caught up in Eamon and Paddy's orbit.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. They were just too explosive in this episode.
I think she keeps a very cool head, and I really admired her in these episodes.
So let's talk about Breakfast of F5. So it's Joanna's 40th birthday, which was nice.
Yeah,
they
that
all
was
sang.
nice. That
They
was
all
lovely.
sang. I another thing that's exhausting is imagine having to come to breakfast every morning and hug
Oh my
15
God.
people.
I had the same thought.
What?
Like, I'm a tactile person. I'll typically hug someone when I see them, but like every morning to go through a procession of hugging.
Oh my God, it's so great to see you. It's been 6 hours.
Imagine this was back in COVID. They'd all be ill. Like, there's just constant touching and breathing all over each other.
And then we get some more sound bites from Eamon. Whatever about Eamon, and I don't think that he represented himself very well in this episode. But
Cracking
that man
one-liners.
can give sound bites.
Yeah,
My
cracking.
God, he got some good ones. He says, "I'm going to make Paddy think I'm throwing him a bone, but I'm throwing him under the bus."
I think, are they scripting lines for him?
I don't know. He's
Because
very good.
He's not a writer, and that's like very written line.
He is a writer. I think he should leave on Garda Síochána and become a
I
writer.
I almost think they're too good, or else he plotted them before he
He's
came
probably
in
thinking
to be
them.
theatrical.
He's thinking a lot about all.
He's thinking
his
in
moves.
sound bites, yeah.
Yeah. Some people just have it. Some people are just really good on the camera
Yeah.
as well. And whatever you think about Eamon,
He's great on camera.
He's very good on camera. He's good TV. And then we find out that they have offed John. We were sure they were going to off Nick. And let's be honest, they should have offed him.
They really should have.
What were they thinking? Because that
John
was
was just
absolutely Eamon's demise.
Nice, quiet, even-tempered.
Yeah, and he goes, and then Eamon goes, "I think this is my favourite murder out of all of them."
And this came up later on in Traitors Uncloaked.
Yeah, which if you haven't watched Eamon on Traitors Uncloaked with John,
Fantastic.
please go to RT Player and watch that because it is it's honestly quite uncomfortable. But
Eamon's
John,
like, I was right to kill you, and John's like, but you weren't. John specifically says you should have killed Nick because it's like, and you'd still be there now.
yeah, exactly. And John wasn't letting him off the hook.
John
it's an uncomfortable vibe, that Traitors Uncloaked episode between
Yeah.
everybody. Eamon's putting out some real negative energy. I
Yeah.
gotta say, he came off way too mean and hot on Paddy after the game's over in Traitors Uncloaked. Like, cool it, man. What you're supposed to do, like everyone else, is say, listen, it's just a bit of fun. And even Kevin, the host, tried to dig him out of it and be like, but come on, you'd meet him for a pint afterwards.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even.
No, he
he's
did.
Like,
No,
he
he
kind of
said-
said, "Oh, I might."
No, he said I'd go for a pint with him.
I know, but
I think it's
Yeah, go on.
like, I think how he's playing the game is, and how he played the game and how he's shown up subsequently on Uncloaked, it's just more of an American model. Like, it's the kind of housewives energy, it's real Traitors US energy, and I don't object to it. And it's funny because so many people have messaged us having issues with it, but I'm like, but it's for fun. It's a TV show.
And
They
actually-
have to cast people like that, or we wouldn't have all been hanging on the edges of our sofas for episode 5.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
actually, I agree. And I was saying to you last night when we were watching this episode, it actually, a lot of people commenting about how low the prize money is, and it is kind of laughable sometimes when Siobhan's like swim down to the bottom of this ravine and
Get €100.
and pull each gold coin is worth €50. You're like, oh, we should get a night out for that.
Yeah, because
If I'm
the thing
lucky.
is, like-
I wouldn't even get dinner.
Like, you can end up with having like 4 people win at the same time. So whatever they win, like, yes, it's a lot of money, but then you divide it. Like, I just feel like the creeks are showing this week on RT's budget. The prize is too
God,
low.
the casino in
and we'll
episode
get to
6
the set in
looks terrible.
episode 6. Things were dire.
But my point, what I was going to say is, I think it's actually a positive of the show that the prize money is so low, because if Paddy and Eamon were going at each other like that, or anybody's going at each other, and the stakes are €500,000, then it gets nasty. Then if you got kicked out, you would be, that's an enemy for life. Whereas it's easy, I think it is easier to walk away and say, look, that was just for fun. We had a bit of crack. Right?
Yeah, it's still a lot of money though. Like, it's still life-changing money, but it's not like buy a house money.
Which ironically is what they all said they want to do.
I know.
With it. But yeah,
but if one person won it, it could be a deposit for a house, but they're never
Yeah.
even going to make the pot hit 50 grand to begin with, and it will never be one person winning it.
Exactly. It's gonna
But
be-
anyway,
it's gonna be 3 or 4.
we're only at breakfast.
We're still at breakfast. So one other thing I wrote down here I loved was Christine's reaction to John being banished. They got rid of a cork man. We needed his strength. We needed his skills. Just like she is so
she says
crushing
something like
on him
they're targeting
so hard.
Cork people, and someone else is like, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, we're Cork people, and we know that we are the center of the universe.
Exactly.
And when anything is done to us, it's because we're Cork people, and how dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very funny though.
The aftermath of this there was a lot of interesting stuff in the aftermath of this breakfast. So Eamon, this is where the whole, oh my God.
And Eamon said on
Eamon
Traitors
gets his
Uncloaked that
plan.
he was most confident this morning, and boy did it show.
He was too confident.
It's just pride comes before a fall, like drawn out for you.
But his big plan was tell Paddy to vote for Patrick because he saw that Patrick was his thing. So we're going to pretend to Paddy, you're going to throw him the bone.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a big plan. And he goes over to Caitlin. The three of them sit incredibly conspicuously together, whispering in a very suspicious way.
There was a tweet going around which said that it was giving off energy of like a niece and a nephew trying to con their old uncle out of a farm.
That's it.
But actually, in fairness though, people often huddle, so I actually, as suspicious as it looked to us, the viewer, the three of them doing that.
Yeah, maybe it
moment.
probably happens all over the Slane Castle all
And then
the time. But
Caitlin is smart enough to just get up and walk away.
fair play to Caitlin. She
said they're as thick as two bulls.
Thick as two bulls. And they were like, I gotta say, I admire Paddy for not getting caught up in their bullshit as well, and just being like, he's pissed off, and he says, like, I'm not frustrating, I'm frustrated.
When he said that, that was a good line.
Yeah.
And I think again, it's like the hubris of Eamon, and then as we'll see in the next episode, Nick. You can't control people and tell them what to do, and they kind of get these notions that they're like puppet masters, and it's like there's like 15 other people there, and particularly I feel it for them. The women are getting very annoyed being told to do what these men.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
It was these three alpha bros in EP6. What were they doing?
Yeah.
And I've never seen a quicker character arc for Nick than anyone else in EPs 5 and 6 to go from this absolute hero. He's the mastermind of the game, and then in the casino they're all like, he's our leader, he's the best player, he's, oh my God. And then by the end,
Dave, you're skipping way ahead. We're after breakfast on episode 5.
Right. It's hard to go.
It's the
go
conclave,
chronologically.
the three of them.
So the conclave, and then it doesn't go well. Then there's a great moment. Caitlin walks away. Then there's a great moment when they're on the way to the challenge where Vanessa is in the car.
Don't forget, Paddy and Eamon get quite heated after she walks away as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Like they're really annoyed
Very
at each
much
other.
so.
Like that's not just for camera.
Oh no, it is. These two and honestly, I found this episode 5 uncomfortable to watch. From all the way to the round table. I know it's gripping dramatic TV, but there was an undercurrent of hatred between Paddy and Eamon that I found very uncomfortable, and it's not in really.
I found it
in the
fine
spirit of the game. I think it went too personal.
I think it was fine because I think they're both well able. If there'd been a different person in the midst of that, I probably would have felt uncomfortable.
Like poor old Andrew in EP6.
Exactly.
Like that felt wrong.
But those two, like Paddy, like one's a prison guard and one's a guard. Like they are well able. Like
they were well able, but it was just watching two people just sparring. Imagine how uncomfortable.
I mean, everyone when we get to the round table, everyone was uncomfortable. But yeah. I mean, I didn't find it uncomfortable. I found it to be very, very good TV.
Anyway, Vanessa's in the car with Caitlin. They're on the way to the challenge, and
love her.
She's one of my favorites now. Vanessa, she's fantastic, and Oyen. By the way,
my God, obsessed. But so
star.
we're now getting to know the quieter ones that we didn't know.
Two very quiet ones.
Now, last week, funnily, you said Oyen was a bit of a wallflower. Not this week.
Oh my God, she's coming out of herself. She's like, we'll talk about it in a minute, but. Vanessa's in the car to Caitlin. She turns around and does this brilliant tactic and it threw both of us. It threw Caitlin. She says, "What was your reason for getting rid of John?" And that
was so good.
Genius. Yeah, and she plays it off as a bit of a laugh, but Caitlin had a look. She was like, you could read it anyway, but she was caught. She was like, for a moment, she was like, confused and what does she know? It looked like guilt,
and she said it so casually. But the thing where I feel for Caitlin is like every time someone says anything, you have to immediately think, how would a faithful act? Like, you can never... And I think it's easier if you get turned...
You just have to laugh that off.
If you get turned into a traitor halfway through, you can be like, how would I act yesterday?
Yeah.
But if you always were a traitor, you can never tap into like how faithful it act.
People change. Their behaviours change. Nick spotted it in Eamon straight away and he didn't even know him.
Yeah.
Right, then they get to the challenge. It was this whole thing about they're at school.
Oh, I kind of liked this.
It was fun, and they go down a raft, and it was very complicated. And then there's maths, and you have to remember the numbers and then bring them back.
It just they had enough happening that it was fun. And like, I loved all the desks and the BQ and all that.
It looked well. It
Yeah.
looked much better than the casino they cobbled
God.
together for
Yeah.
Ipswich. But the I really enjoyed Siobhan's roll call here at the beginning, listing off the dead. Like whoever's writing her lines is pretty good. Although they should have hired our friend Lee Gant, who writes for the UK and US and has been on this podcast.
Yeah, our buddy writes.
How dare they not
write? He
write?
writes Claudia Wilcom.
He writes Claudia's lines and he writes
Alan's lines. Yeah, and he has been on this
But
podcast.
he was not
many
hired
times.
to write Siobhan.
No.
But whoever it is to be fair,
In fairness, it's
doing
kind
a
of
good
very
job.
distinctly Irish, though. I don't think you could have got a Brit. Sorry, Lee.
How could you say that? Lee considers himself Irish, even though he has absolutely no
Anyway,
affiliation.
back to
beside
this
that.
task. I enjoyed it. It was fun. As you said, the amount seemed fairly piddly. As there, I wouldn't be rowing off like towards the corners of the shore to grab €100 bag.
Grab this bag of money from on top of this tree.
Yeah.
Face nearly falling in the water, and it's like, oh, it's €100.
Whenever they mention the amount, it just takes the steam out of it a
takes
bit.
the edge off it,
Yeah.
But there's a great twist to this challenge. I gotta say, we criticized the first few challenges for not creating enough sort of a post-challenge division between the Traitors and the Faithfuls. Mm-hmm. But they did a little gimmick here where they gave the Traitors the code ahead of time, which we initially thought, well, that's pointless because none of them are going to expose themselves. So
And they
they're
didn't.
never going to do it. And they didn't. But it's actually quite genius because what it did was it created... make the Faithfuls look
Wilkin.
at everyone's action. Poor Wilkin with another absolutely mad left field.
I love him.
Like him at the round table trying to explain Kelly's like maths.
Kelly was like,
It was
huh?
literally that gif of Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover with all the numbers at the casino.
I just
It's
love it
like,
so much
what are you talking
because there's
about,
some
Wilkin?
people that everyone knows isn't a traitor, and Kelly seems to be one of those people that like no one would ever suspect. And she's just so young and sweet. And Wilkin was talking, and she was just like, I don't know what's
She's
happening.
like, please explain. What I appreciated though is Wilkin he's getting it wrong consistently, but the man is looking for clues.
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate clue.
Yeah.
I believe he had something.
Yeah.
There is something there to watch the behavior of.
Yeah.
But he was just off the mark. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. And when he brought it to the round table, it was almost like a distraction. It was like, okay, can we get back to the real issues here?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so post challenge, we get a bit of a fallout, huge fallout.
bit of a
before
fallout.
the round table. This is quite explosive, actually. So it all happens between Paddy and Andrew and Eamon. So Andrew, so basically, what happened is the. Okay, how do you even explain it? So Nick finds out that Eamon told Paddy that he had mentioned
that
his
he reckons
name.
he's a traitor.
That he
But
reckons he's a
apparently,
traitor, right?
according to Eamon, he told Paddy that in the conclave. But obviously, Paddy holds no esteem by the conclave secrecy and will just tell anyone anything that's been said there.
This worked for Paddy because
it was genius.
He just created a load of shit, which was also, let's remember, Eamon's whole tactic everywhere is create chaos. Paddy just created a load of chaos.
Did Eamon actually say to Paddy though? Andrew said.
I don't remember.
But this is where the father-son stuff is genius, because Paddy's like, Andrew never said that. Like, Paddy's so adamant.
Paddy knew straight.
And I wonder if, because I can't remember, but I don't think we ever saw Eamon saying, Andrew said he thinks you're a traitor. So I wonder, I don't know, I don't even know what was really going on there, but Nick.
Yeah, this was last night.
This
So
is
much
why
has happened.
they should have killed Nick, because Nick blew this
because
up.
Eamon was caught in a lie, and Nick went back to him with the lie, and he wasn't he basically had to say
and he tried
caught. He had
everything
nothing.
but
He couldn't defend him. Did you notice how differently he acted with Paddy? Like, I thought Eamon was being a bit of a bully towards Paddy, but as soon as Nick came at him, he had nothing. He like fell over.
Well, I think him and Paddy are sick of each other. They're with each other every night in the conclave. They're tired.
Yeah, to be fair.
They're just annoyed by each other.
Yeah.
Whereas Nick's like, oh, if someone you've always gotten along with, well, suddenly comes at you, you'd be quite shocked. And like, and also he wasn't expecting it, so he didn't know how to react.
And Nick came
he's
in
like,
hot.
oh no, I'm coming for Pat.
Yeah, Nick came in hot.
And Eamon really did deserve it though, because he was scheming against Paddy, trying to pretend he was going to vote for Pat. He had too many like balls up in the air.
Yeah.
It just fell flat.
Yeah, exactly. And then it made for a hugely explosive round table. Caitlin had a great line. She said tonight's round table is going to be a traitor death match.
and
she was right. So you have Christine. Christine moved on Caitlin straight away. She was adamant. She's been pretty on her for ages now. And I liked Christine doing this. She was very polite, nice and polite about it. I really like Christine.
Yeah, I really like her
not just because she's from Cork, but she comes across really well.
But they just come across as respectful of, look, if you're the traitor, it's part of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Most of them are being respectful to each other. Caitlin sort of mounted, I thought, despite being clearly exhausted, mounted a really good defense on the Linda thing.
I think she's really good.
And then Eamon starts raising his voice, gets very heated. I think we've covered a lot of this, but it gets...
He lost the run of himself.
He lost the run of himself. He's shouting at Paddy. Nick comes in. This is one of my favourite moments in this roundtable. Was Nick comes in to Paddy's defence and says Paddy is a loyal, good Limerick man.
The funniest thing about all that was Paddy would not shut up, right? And Andrew actually says, shut up.
Paddy.
Andrew actually is like, Dad, stop. It's like when your dad had too many drinks.
Yeah.
And because Nick came in his defence, so Paddy at that point needed to sit back and shut his mouth. And he wouldn't. Other people were taking heat off him, were defending him, and he kept jumping in. And Andrew's like, Dad, shut the fuck up.
He's not just jumping. He's interrupting people. He's talking over them.
Yeah.
Paddy, and I'm a big fan of Paddy.
Love him.
But Paddy does need to stop doing that, because he was doing it. Did you notice they were all so sick of it in EP6 then at the round table? Who said it to somebody?
Kelly said don't talk.
Kelly just said don't
respond.
talk, Paddy.
She said
shut up, Paddy.
She said something, don't respond or something. But yeah, Paddy was like on one here, but Nick took it away for him basically.
Nick saved him.
Yeah,
Nick saved him. So if Eamon had killed Nick instead of creating unnecessary, like, quote unquote chaos with John, which John was harmless, and John admitted himself he didn't know. You see his reaction to finding out who they were. He hadn't a clue. He wasn't onto any of them.
And he actually, I love when Eamon's like on Traitors and Cloaked, Paddy's the worst player they've ever had on any one of the franchise, and then John's like, yeah, but he's there and you're here.
Yeah, nailed it. And even
so
Kevin the host said the same thing.
Yeah.
He got further than you, Eamon.
Yeah, like it's fine to say I tried my best and I lost, but it's not fine to say I'm better than you even though you beat me.
Come on, he's
crazy.
completely a bad loser and lacking in humility.
Now I feel bad for him because I'd say he's getting an awful doing now, and I'm very glad he was on the show, because we said this about Traitors last week, but like it can sometimes get a bit duller as it goes on because you lose the big personalities. So like you'd miss him, when he's gone, I'd say.
And you said this in the beginning of this episode, but like people, if you're listening, just like cool your jets on social media, like leave Eamon alone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like it's just a stupid game.
Yeah,
you can think these things, you can talk to your family, but people can see things on social media. Don't be an asshole.
Do you know, like he actually didn't murder anyone?
I know.
Like seriously.
He's out there protecting us, guys, on the street. We need more guards, like bullish guards, like Eamon.
We need more guards, full stop.
That's true, yes, we do.
There's a recruitment drive.
Yeah, that's because the bloody Traitors keeps taking them away. They're taking guards off the street and making them traitors and putting cloaks on them.
Yeah.
This is not what we need, RTE. Anyway, what else happened? Oh yeah, we spoke about Will and the maths. Oyen. Absolute queen. What a hero. I don't think we've watched several series of the Traitors. I don't think I've ever seen anybody at the round table point to every single traitor and say it's these three and this is the reason what's going on. I was like, wow,
so clever. And then Eamon did you see Eamon's face? He was so stunned. So was Caitlin. And then Paddy is so cute. He goes, you need to like vote with your gut and just trust yourself.
Very smart move.
He's so
very smart,
clever.
You see, and Eamon says that Paddy is the worst player in the world. I mean, like he
he's got good instincts and
Do you
he's
know what
good
they
at
have?
defending himself.
So
he's
I've
just
often-
not. He's too casual and he's not forward thinking with his strategy.
Yeah, but there's different types of games though, right?
Go on, yeah.
You've got your strategic game and you've got your social game.
Yes, exactly.
Eamon has no social game. Puddy so far hasn't been that strategic, albeit I do think he's pulled some blinders. And it was the same for anyone who watched US Traitors when Wes absolutely flamed out. Way worse than Eamon, by the way.
Because people didn't like
He had
him.
no social game.
Be careful of spoilers for other ones.
No, I'm just saying he had no social game and he was like, I'm the king of strategy. I'm the most strategic. I've won any more games and seasons of Survivor than anyone else has ever
Amazing
won.
how
It's like,
similar
but no
those
one
two
likes
guys
you, though.
are. Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he really intimidated. And by the way, I say he was way, way worse than Eamon. But that thing of like not having a social game, and Paddy's charming and cute and like people like him. And you just can't underestimate
people
that.
are voting with their guts,
Yeah.
often in the complete vacuum that
And
they're
then I
in.
think Caitlin had a very good social game, and I think she's very strategic.
Yes,
but I think it
she
just
could
took
have
its
both.
toll on her, and like she just was under too much suspicion to deflect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the shield thing ended up causing her more harm than good.
I
Anyway,
know. It was...
Eamon, when he left, I was so glad to finally some drama at a round table when he left and he did his big,
I was
I'm
very
a member
happy
of
for
Vanguard
them.
Shikona, and then he goes, and I'm a traitor, and they all screamed, and I love that, and I wish that
Imagine that feeling of catching a traitor.
why
It's
can't
so
the faithfuls do some fun exits instead of just being like, I love you all, I'm a faithful? I want some of the faithfuls to do like a bluff
What do you
and
mean?
go, I want a faithful to be like,
This whole
pretend
time
that-
I've
yeah.
been plotting
I just do
to
something.
catch the
They're
traitors
just
because
not-
I'm a faithful.
They're just not dramatic. They could have fall off a cliff at that point. So I loved seeing Eamon being dramatic. And then they all like lose their shit. And Paddy was so happy when he went
I
in.
know, yeah.
And
We won.
it does take the heat off you then again if you've been in a confrontation the night before, it like cools off you the next day.
Yeah.
So that was all very
That's
fun.
how it works.
And then Paddy and Caitlin when they got to the conclave
Oh,
together.
so funny.
So good.
And I love it. Paddy straight up said, "I still don't trust you."
He
Please-
goes-
he said something basically like along the lines of, "You'll forgive me if I still don't trust you."
yeah, and she was like, fair.
Totally fair.
Yeah, and then they said,
They're a lot more civil.
he
to
goes,
them.
oh, we should recruit Nick or maybe Andrew. And he's like, what do you think? And she's like, I think Nick could be really good. And he goes, well, look, I don't really know Andrew.
He said, "You know Andrew a lot better than
See,
I
that's
do."
the social game again. Like, that's clever.
He's good. He's good.
Whereas, like, Eamon would have been like, we have to pick so-and-so and just screaming it. But Paddy let it lie when she said, no, let's go for Nick.
You're right.
yeah.
Paddy's diplomatic.
He's diplomatic. That's where we left it off.
Now, there's one last thing which was great at the end of F5 was Nick's sort of piece to camera where he says, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you." Gotcha.
Why did he say that backwards?
He was-
I don't know what he was doing.
It's so cheesy.
And then he finger gunned, didn't he? What's with all the finger gunning?
I feel like there's too much finger gunning
Yeah.
happening in the Slane Castle. Put those fingers back in the holsters,
That was
boys.
so weird. Like, that was Nick's. I think Nick turning down the traitor thing is his undoing.
Well,
It just went to his head.
let's take a quick moment here. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about episode 6.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, we're back. So let's talk about episode 6. So yes, Nick, as you said, turns down the. This took me by surprise.
Took me by
I
surprise.
really thought he would accept
Why
it.
would you turn it down? I don't get it.
I don't know. I think honestly, I think it was a bad move,
Mm-hmm.
and only for the grace of all the other shit that went down in this episode, it would have backfired on him because he drew all this. He just drew everyone's attention to him.
Mm-hmm.
And drew a lot of suspicion on himself. So, despite the fact he's telling the truth, and everyone said it in their piece to cameras, they're still not sure. Is he telling the truth?
Yeah, because
maybe it's a double bluff.
it's a tactic,
But
yeah.
then if it had been a double bluff, it's a bad double bluff. You what you do is you can do what he did. Just don't tell anyone. You
Yeah.
don't tell anyone either way,
Yeah.
because the point of this game is to not draw attention.
But
to it.
then, if you're not going to... I do think if you're going to turn it down, you should tell people. I just wouldn't turn it down. Like, I take it. Because I just think the fun of going to the conclave and, like, finding out who the traitors are and, like...
I guess it is a vital, to be fair, it is a vital important bit of information because it tells you, it tells everyone else there are still 2 traitors.
And he's one of
two.
he's one of the people who said like he's looking for a house deposit. I just think you've a better shot of winning the money. And like Paddy goes, well, like the game is called Traitors, so like let him play Traitors. And like that's, to me, it is the name of the game. Like as much as I don't think I'd be a good traitor, it also would never go on the show because I'd crumble. If someone asked me, I'd do it.
But I think he is high off the buzz of just having caught a traitor. I think it seems to be enjoying the game as a faithful. I personally thought I understood his decision, and I might have made the same decision because I've said before I'm 100% faithful. You're 100% traitor. Aligns completely with our personalities.
Anyway, I think we both think Nick made it just a litany of errors in this episode.
All right, let's get into it. Anyway, so breakfast. Was it him that figured out the 15? No, it was Ben. Ben figured out this 15 seats. So they figured out, I mean, that was pretty smart, I gotta say. Mark and Paddy are having a chat. Paddy says, I liked his line here. He says, the only thing that's for certain is that they're fucking traitors. They're 100%.
I love how much Paddy curses. And also Mark, another one nobody suspects.
Yes, yeah.
Except for that Eamon tried to murder him a few times.
Everyone seems to like... yeah. Eamon really wanted to murder Mark.
No, I liked what Eamon said about why they killed on Traitors Uncloaked. For anyone who hasn't watched it, he said why he killed John was that there was no breadcrumbs back to them. And in fairness, that's not a bad strategy, but you needed to get Nick more like Nick was too coming for you. But I do think you've got to get out. You've got to get out the like Mark, big. You've got to get out some of the big people who are. We've seen Nick and Mark can sway the round table. Yeah, they have that power. Yeah. And unfortunately, and one thing I wish Mark
Oyen
and Ben,
had,
though, bit of trouble.
If Oyen, like they said it on Uncloaked, if Oyen had a little bit more conviction, because she was so right, she might have swayed the table. But she presented it a bit sort of.
No, but she did help her. No, because she brought it up again, episode 6, and she was like, Caitlin, I really think it was you, and I think it was traitor on traitor.
She did, yeah. So to her credit,
again. Yeah. But I like that though, because I do find like if I was there, I find these men very aggressive. Like I wouldn't want to be sitting around a table listening to them. Like all the women, when Eamon and Paddy were going at it, the eye rolling that was going on from the women, and I would have been there with my eyes back in my head at them as well. I'd much more likely listen to someone like Oyen, and I bet all the women are listening to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Well, they voted with her.
Yeah.
What else happens? Vanessa says Nick looks tired. Nick which was, I thought, another great observation by Vanessa turning out to be a great player.
Yeah.
Like, because he would have been up late. He would have had to stay up back to get the letter.
Yeah.
Right? So she and
what time are they up till, like?
God knows, because filming takes...
Like, after watching this for 3 nights in a row last week, we were shattered for the rest
of the
week.
Just watching it's exhausting. Patrick said a line which will haunt me to my grave, talking about... his time in Las Vegas. I survived and thrived in the Shark Tank.
So corny.
Patrick,
please. I love it. This is why I love Traitors. We have so many different personalities.
I know. I'm glad he's
like,
there.
We've got somebody who survived the Shark Tank of Las Vegas, alongside someone who's an apprentice tattoo artist, alongside someone who's a management leadership consultant, alongside an ex-prison guard. Like, you never have this mix of people. It's mad. Like,
it is like, fascinating. And like you've said before, it's cross-generational.
I'd love to be in the casting room for it. Like,
yeah,
it must be fascinating.
It's honestly, it's the most crucial part of this show is the casting and the balance, because the rest of it they can't control.
Yeah,
it's all out of their control. They just you've got to get the chemistry right. So after breakfast, Ben is kind of deciding between Paddy and Caitlin. Like both, this is early on. We could tell like, just like this is not good for Caitlin or Paddy. Like the Traitors are massively on the back foot. Will, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't write down who had the theory about Will, but somebody, was it Kelly? Said.
Oh, I think was it Faye?
Or was it Faye? Somebody, apologies.
Well, Kelly's pissed off at him because he voted for her in the round table.
One of the, sorry.
It was Faye. I think it was Faye.
I can't remember who it was. Says they spotted Will reacting too soon to Eamon being out. So again, poor Will caught by doing the slightly wrong thing a little too early.
He just got excited
you
because
know,
he knew Eamon was
using the past tense, jumping the gun a bit.
The way Eamon was presenting was like, I'm about to announce something big.
He was just excited.
Yeah.
But again, they're pouncing on,
you've
on
nothing
any
to
bit
go
of
on,
information.
Yeah. If I heard someone saying they survived a Shark Tank, I'd be like, you're out of here.
Well, he said that just to us. Patrick looked me straight in the eyes when he said that to me. Nick and the lads. This is when the lads are on the way to the challenge. So you had Nick, Ben,
and Andrew,
and no, it wasn't.
No, it was Andrew on the way there.
It was Andrew on the way
and
there.
That's why
oh my
Andrew's
god!
So pissed off with them later
Because they
all say they're going to vote Patrick.
So Mark subbed in for Andrew on the way back, and they
turned their backs on
Andrew.
him. So this is where Nick was saying,
hurts, you're right.
we all know Caitlin's the traitor.
Yeah.
So, let's keep her there. And then he said, and then let's just take someone out who we think is probably faithful, but who I don't trust, and it's Patrick. Yeah. So he was already, when he was saying that in the car, I was like,
stone cold.
I love the strategy, but would I be out loud saying that? It not like people do not like people are in the show very much like for the right reasons. The people are not.
Sorry, this is The Bachelor.
That's also The Bachelor, yes. But like people are on this show being very much like, you're trying to get traitors out. Once you start fucking around and saying, I'm going to throw a faithful out
Nick
to keep it keep that information to maybe you and like one other person.
Nick thinks he's playing 5D chess, but he just needs to be playing checkers.
But the thing is, all of his strategy is really good. But again, his mistake is telling people it's the social game.
Exactly. You don't communicate this stuff.
Yeah.
He should have.
But the thing was, Andrew and Andrew and Ben, the three of them were up for it.
Yeah.
And none of them.
Ben was a little too up for it.
Oh, Ben was wild for it. But they wouldn't have told anyone. But then his mistake is on the way back. It's like Mark comes in and they just go, okay, fuck it,
Guess
we'll
what
go
we're
for
doing,
Andrew.
Mark?
So then that's not strategic at all. Like.
Plus, also by creating little groups and controlling information flow, you can better suss out who's safe and who's a traitor. Right? Yeah. So Nick, if he was smart, he knows he's a faithful, and he is smart, but he knows he's a faithful. He could have tested Andrew and Ben to see if they'll go along with it, or will they go a different way, right? So you can kind of test.
I just think if you've got an alliance like that, he was crazy to mess it up on the car home just because of an off-the-cuff comment from Mark.
But I think Mark is a very big and convincing personality as well.
Honestly, the four of them should have made an alliance.
Yeah,
because they were kind
of
all
on the same page. Well, they couldn't because Mark was saying he suspected Andrew, and Andrew clearly says he doesn't trust Mark. He doesn't talk to him.
Yeah,
so that wasn't going to happen.
Anyway, can we do a brief interlude here, because what the hell was this challenge? Can I tell you my theory?
Go on.
So, my theory is that it was like a really rainy day or something happened where the challenge that they were supposed to do crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Because like I have seen better sets than this when we worked during the recession in TV3.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
It was really bad. It was like what was really disappointing about it all was
it was so shit.
The most disappointing thing was that like they made everyone get so dressed
and
up.
I was so excited because I've been dying for a bit of fashion.
I know, and they and everyone looked great.
Yeah.
To be fair, and they made everyone go to Slane Castle, bring a fancy outfit. Yeah. You're definitely gonna need a fancy outfit, guys. Which they would have been excited for. Like imagine, I was like, finally, you even saw Faye. She was like, I can't wait to wear I've got my jacket.
Do you know where they were driven to? A nearby community hall that somebody stuck some curtains up in, and then they didn't even have props. They had upside down playing cards that they wrote their names in, and then they had like 3 cut out pieces of cardboard.
Of felt cardboard.
Sorry, that our 5-year-old could do a better job of making.
Do you know what it reminded me of? Was funny you mentioned our 5-year-old. This has the vibe of like you just said. When you're a parent and you're like, oh shit,
it's a rainy day and you have nothing to do.
The soccer's been cancelled.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to make up some shit for the kids to do. I'll get some craft paper out.
It looked like the set of like an old Darren Brown show. Yeah. Like, I can't believe what we were watching.
And it was just
and the task was terrible.
The task was terrible.
Sorry,
today.
you have to make a house out of cards.
It was pathetic.
It was. Like, tragic. Between this and them fishing down the river for like €100 in the last episode,
It just kept going, and then it was like by the
so
end it was
boring.
like bad team building exercises. Like, who's the most funny?
Do you know what they're
Who's
trying to
the
do
most-
as
and that
well?
was-
You know when they're trying to do like, they were trying to add like shit posts at the end where they were like, oh, who's the most like conniving or whatever they were saying. They're trying to do that version of the thing in Love Island where they like, they show the mean tweets or they say who said this about who, but without the Love Island budget and without anyone having spent any time working on the task.
That bit was kind of interesting. It was more interesting than watching fucking Oyen, Faye and Patrick pick up cards.
Yeah, at least the
That's
social.
like so
Yeah, it got
pathetic.
interesting when they were asking them like social
It was
dynamics.
a bit more interesting,
But
but,
again,
it
it's like-
still has the vibe of like underinvested corporate team exercise outing from
And like,
HR.
why do they all have to wear those crap headphones while everyone's like, ooh? It's just like,
It was
anyway,
really bad. For
will
such a good episode as well. Everything else in this episode was.
who even won the shield? I don't even remember.
I don't know. Oh, good question. Nobody. Did anyone win a shield? I don't know. I didn't. To be honest, I didn't understand what was happening.
If the shield thing happened, I was too busy shit posting about the task.
I was just gobsmacked at how bad it was. Anyway.
Anyway, back to the fateful
Fair
car
play to
ride.
Oyen though. Again, people not backing Oyen. They
Yeah.
packed Patrick because he works in a casino.
I mean,
which
to
I
be
don't
fair-
know, guys. No. To be fair, sorry,
He worked in a
They
casino.
literally
Dave.
got asked who can build a house of cards the fastest,
Dave.
and they said the man that worked in a casino.
The man who
because
survived
have you ever been to a casino?
The man who survived the
Survived
Shark
and
Tank.
thrived.
Yeah,
The Shark
is the
Tank.
man who can build a house of cards.
Like, lads, these are completely different skill sets.
Dave.
What are you talking about?
No, come on. You've got a casino-related challenge, and you've someone who used to be a casino manager.
But it wasn't just like, okay, there's going to be a casino-related challenge. Who's your money on? It was who can build a house of cards the fastest. The online Twitch gamer streamer who would have incredibly good hand-eye coordination and reflexes, or the 55-year-old man who was probably sat in Las Vegas casinos looking at security cameras and
That's
throwing
a fair
people out.
point. Do you know what they couldn't afford here? An actual roulette table or something like that. Like, I thought they were going to an
yes,
actual casino.
anything.
I actually genuinely thought they were going to a casino.
Anything.
Anyways, we need to stop talking. So the fateful car ride back, where sadly for Andrew he got swapped out.
I know,
that car.
and this is where it all...
But it all fell apart for all of them because at this point, it's okay. I think it's okay to have the plan to be like, listen, between the three of us, we know Caitlin's a traitor, and then potentially, I do think that here that Andrew and Ben thought that Patrick might be a traitor. I actually think it was to us that Nick started saying, even if he's not a traitor, I just don't trust him. Basically, Nick, his head got way too big here. And then when they swapped Andrew and Mark out, and then Mark's like laying into Andrew, and their problem here is they had no loyalty to Andrew. Yeah. And they'd no reason to turn on him. And it's just a bad luck.
Like you said, it's just a social game. They
Yeah.
forgot. What they've done is they have created divisions.
Yeah.
And it's going to come
The
back.
women are going to turn on
It's
them.
going to come back and bite all of them in the ass.
Though Mark
in
didn't
future
come
episodes.
on carrying on about it later, though.
No, Mark was
He's
probably
smarter.
the most civil at the table, but Ben and Nick in particular are...
Yeah, Ben and Nick lost it later. We'll come back to that.
They
but anyway.
got caught up. It's sniffing each other's testosterone and getting high on their own supply.
Sorry, back to Traitors Uncloaked for a second on Eamon. But he said something really gross about Paddy, where he said he doesn't have the testicular
Fortitude.
Yeah,
no.
Like, it's one thing to be saying Leroy, which is like a bit of fun, but like, I really don't like this genital based language to be like expressing positivity or negativity about someone. I really didn't like that testicular comment at all, albeit I really enjoyed the Leroy D comment. And Paddy made a video on Instagram where he was like playing with balls and saying Leroy D.
That's funny. Is Paddy on Instagram?
Yeah, we follow him.
Oh, do we? Right, Nick, because as if Nick doesn't have enough plates spinning, what he then decides to do is nudge Caitlin on the way in.
I love that though. That
and
was
tells
really
her
smart.
to vote for Andrew. It was smart because it would have protected him from murder that night.
Exactly.
If she had survived.
I thought that, of all the things he did, I thought that was so clever.
It was clever, I gotta say. Right, let's go to the round table. So Mark kicks it off straight away, goes on Andrew.
I don't think Mark mounted a very good argument against Andrew though.
No, I
just
didn't
went on
understand.
too long.
I think Mark is clever, but I didn't understand. Write in if you couldn't explain to us what Mark's point was. It was too complicated.
See, this is where you'd miss like the American one, because they're all like, as I've said before, but like reality TV stars, so they'll come in with like a prepared script.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in the Irish one at the moment, sometimes they're just coming in a bit long-winded, and it's
what happens is they come in and say, listen, like Mark's thing was, okay, so day 2 round table, day 5 round table. There was 3 days in between. I've spoken to everybody, but I haven't spoken to you enough.
Which is not, as they would say, evidence.
And then he said, and then I was about to speak to you, but then someone else came in.
Yeah,
and then we're like,
it was so long-winded.
What are you talking about, Mark?
Yeah, but I like that Mark came in like hot, because I like to see it, but I couldn't understand it, but I admired it.
And then Andrew, it was like a lost puppy here.
See, I think Andrew knew his dad's a traitor.
Yeah, you think so?
And I think all the stuff between his dad and Eamon last night must have taken it out of him, because I was thinking, like, say if I was sitting there with like my mom or my dad, and that was all going on,
and you can't say
anything, and you can't defend them, and like people might be talking shit about your dad to you, and also like, I mean, he did say shut up to him at the table. He had to intervene at one point, but like, that's very, very stressful. I'm sure he probably thinks his dad's a traitor anyway. And then never mind just that, like, even if you're like vaguely, like we all are, like, to have a level of being introverts where you need time in your own, and to what we were saying earlier about like having to get up every morning and hug everyone and then hang out with everyone all day. Like, I do think sometimes you just be like, geez, I could really do with a few hours to myself, where I have the feeling that like they only sleep by themselves and then they're straight back into the game again.
And he did look tired.
Yeah, I just think anyone would be kind of tired.
Yeah.
And he just did look tired. And also, I think they came at him out of nowhere. What we didn't see, though, is they said to Paddy, Nick said to Paddy, we're coming for Andrew. And Paddy was like, oh, shit. I reckon Paddy might have warned Andrew before the table, because Andrew came into the table looking tired.
You think so? But they would have shown us that. Why wouldn't they have shown us that? I don't think
it makes
happened.
It less dramatic.
I don't think Paddy had the opportunity.
You might have had the chance.
I don't think he had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Because I had the same thought. But Andrew does try to deflect with a very strange deflection towards Faye, where he says, I think it's Faye because she doesn't, because the person in her portrait is different to the person she
I'm
is.
pulling up her portrait here because I know what
was he talking about?
Is it because her portrait picture is like a bit sassy and like, but like it's just because she has her makeup done and she's like making a face, and then like day to day she's not like fully made up and like making. She was like, "What are you talking about? I look different than my photo."
What he means, I really don't.
I don't know what he meant either, but he came back later and he came back later better, much better.
He came back and voted for the right person, the traitor. So I don't know what he was on about. I think he was just panicking. And then somebody.
It's because I think Mark said something about him saying something about Faye. I think Mark set that off, and Andrew had to pick it up. I think.
Yes,
yeah,
you're right. You're right.
Because it was so confusing. I do, because when they do things that we haven't seen on screen, I wish the editors would just cut them because we don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, Mark said you said something to me about Faye, and then she says, "What did you say?" And then he says, well, you don't look like.
I just think they should have cut all that bit then. Do you know what I mean? And like, because they say the round table goes on way longer.
Then, and this one did feel like this pile on Andrew I was not enjoying.
Really
I'm glad somebody just came in.
He just seems like such a sweetheart, and like I just think the stress of like having your dad in there and like trying to cover all that up, especially when you're prone to screaming, "Daddy!"
It's all come good. Yeah. Imagine if he just stood up in the middle of the round table and said, "Daddy, no!
Daddy, shut up!"
Then Paddy.
By the way, it was funny when in Traitors Uncloaked, your man the fireman goes, "Oh,
John,
I don't think they're father and son. Like, I think they should have a DNA test."
Yeah, that was funny.
I think they're very alike, though.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Like, I know they don't
have
like,
similar temperaments.
They just seem alike to me.
Yeah. Paddy then goes after Caitlin, and the whole table just turns on her.
But Paddy came straight in there on his son's defense. I love to see it.
He did, to be fair.
Could you imagine that? Like, if it was one of my kids, I'd be up on top of the table hissing at
awful.
people.
Yeah.
He'd have been so upset.
I love that somebody said you're piling on an old man, and Paddy was like, "Who, Patrick?" Like, no, you.
No, it was actually Andrew said doddery old man.
Oh, was that it?
Doddery old man.
Yeah. Vanessa had Caitlin dead to rights in here.
Yeah,
they all did know it was Caitlin, and I think she did play a great game, but it was just like, I think it just.
I mean,
they just figured it out.
If you're like,
It was her time to go.
Often in seasons, all the traders will be gone and there'll be completely new traders by the end. Like it's really hard to stay in as if you're a trader from the very beginning, it's so hard to stay in.
Yeah, that's true. And then finally, Andrew did mount. We both thought a really good attack on Patrick.
He came in hot then.
Really good. He said, what was his? He was like, Caitlin and Eamon.
He said they're the actors, and you're
the mastermind.
You're pushing the narrative.
It was very convincing.
He's actually right, except that actually his dad's the one pushing the narrative. I'm convinced Andrew knows his dad's a traitor at this point.
I think you might be right.
I just think
he's
your own.
He's going to know tonight.
I would know if my mom or dad were lying.
I think so too.
So
he basically said as much. He said as much in some piece to cameras where we said this, where the producers were asked clearly prompting him, do you think your dad's a traitor?
And he's like, yeah.
He pretty much says it's very possible.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think he knows and he's keeping it to himself.
Yeah.
I think
of course he's keeping it to himself. So that's his inheritance money if his dad wins.
So then they all get Caitlin out. And well done to her. I think
she did
I
so
thought
good.
and we said it from the beginning. I thought she was a good traitor.
Yeah. And she went out with a lot of grace. Like she didn't go out swinging.
Exactly, yeah.
She took it on the chin. She was really nice about it. She mounted a good defense. Like you couldn't do anymore. And when she left, I just thought her exit was really nice.
It was classy.
She was classy, yeah.
Yeah.
And she didn't try and like burn anyone else in the process. Like leave sometimes they'll try and do clues or
her thing didn't quite land as well as the as Eamon's when she goes, I'm not a wedding planner, I'm a leadership consultant. I would say half the room were like, oh, I didn't even know you were a wedding planner, because Christine earlier in the episode just happened to ask. Sorry, excuse me, wedding celebrant, yeah. Because Christine just happened to ask her in the car or something. And did you notice at Christine's face?
I mean, to say I'm a Garda. Oh, Christina was so funny. Yeah, a Garda Síochána is way different.
Way more of a mic.
But I still enjoyed it though. And like, I love the elation that they all feel. And I'm dying to watch her in Traitors Uncloaked, but we're recording this before we watch it. I'm dying to see her on it. I think she'll be really good. And I think like, fair play to Paddy, he's the last man standing.
I know. I mean,
he's the king. He is the king.
For someone who Eamon called the worst player who's out, I think he's going to go far. He's going to recruit Andrew now.
Okay, we need to talk about this.
Go on.
Before we get to that, which is epic. What happens, and we've already kind of mentioned it, but we do have to mention it here again.
They sit down again.
So basically, Caitlin leaves.
We never see this.
By the way, I love how Paddy always writes Kate when he's voting for her, like he can't be bothered writing the full name.
Yeah.
So Kate leaves. And they're all like, yay. And this is where Nick lost the run of himself.
Yeah,
Nick's like, oh.
Nick spoiled the vibe.
He spoiled the vibe. He starts mansplaining to them all about how clever he was. And he thought it was Caitlin. And then Ben really foolishly gets in on this. The two of them are carrying on. And I've been around men like that. The women viscerally turned against them. It was too macho. It was too abrasive. It was too... looking down like, oh, how you're all so fucking stupid that you did
how
this.
could you not see this?
But
you didn't communicate it to anyone. How do you expect them to know? They're
Andrew
playing the game of finding traitors.
Exactly. And then somebody goes, when two of the women were walking down the hall together, and I can't remember who they were like, so yeah, but what if they'd gotten rid of Andrew and he's a faithful, and then Caitlin had murdered one of us tonight?
Yeah.
Like basically they were telling everyone we were willing to completely sacrifice Andrew so that we could manipulate Caitlin. So then they're all like, oh, so you'd sacrifice me.
Such a stupid thing to say.
So it's one thing
exactly
what they're so stupid is they should have said we knew Caitlin was the traitor and we were 99% Andrew was. But even then the other faithful will go, but that means you would sacrifice me.
Yeah, exactly.
So how is that ever going to land? And so Andrew literally says to them like, why were you doing that to me? And he's so pissed off with them.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
And it's such a turnaround, because in the casino or in the community centre with the curtains, the Nick, you could tell there was so much goodwill towards Nick. Like they were crazy. Like, who's your leader? They went, Nick, we love Nick.
This is what I'm telling you.
Who's so smart?
Pride
Nick.
Comes before a fall.
Yeah, it's the same. Eamon and
I
Nick
feel bad for Nick because I'd say he's watching it back now, kicking himself because he's so clever. But like, for any man listening to this, don't act like that and don't talk to women like that and talk to them like they're stupid. I'm sorry, my back is up about it.
I think he just couldn't help himself. He needed everyone to know that he had this big plan and he wanted everyone
because
to
he
know.
went in thinking he was gonna. Yeah. He went in convinced he was getting rid of Andrew. and he couldn't like lay low, and that didn't happen. And this is where Paddy's got a better social game again. Like when Paddy said the night before, let's recruit Nick, or maybe Andrew, and Caitlin said, let's do Nick. He didn't push the Andrew thing. He never mentioned it again. That's smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Like keep your cards close to your chest.
Exactly.
Anyway, total creepy vibes. The women were not happy. Andrew's not happy at them. Hard to know what Wilkins thinking. I just love to see him
Wilkins,
chaos.
So everyone's over here looking at
Mark
the traitor.
Mark kept it quiet here.
Wilkins looking in the other direction saying, but what about the maths?
No, Wilkins off going, it's definitely Kelly. But I think Mark was much smarter here because Mark was in on the plan and then he immediately backed away from it. That's what you have to do, like.
Yeah,
like,
Mark. If I were Mark, I'd be distancing. Even though Mark's the one that instigated.
Yeah, but Mark thought Andrew was a traitor, though. Mark had better intentions, but also I think you should scheme all you want, but like just keep it cool then when it doesn't go your way, like because this is what Eamon was like as well. He lost it when he did it. Do you see, listeners?
Do you see why Kathy would be a good traitor?
you keep wanting me to go on the show and being a traitor.
You know what you're doing.
But we're armchair analysing. Like I don't. Like I'm sure for Ben and Nick and all them going in, like, you know, you have notions and you get excited about something, and we've all had to deal with disappointments in our life, and it's so heightened. So I'm really not judging anyone. Right, then we get to the turret. The conclave. Paddy, I am buzzing. Like, what a man! Who thought he'd be the last traitor standing?
Fair play to him.
Yeah,
fair play to him.
And
he basically offed the two of them.
I mean, he owns the game now because he's recruiting his own son, and he said, "I only have to
there's no heat on him or Andrew after this, or
none.
Maybe a little bit, but
he says I only have to look forward now. I don't have to watch my back anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, in the history of the game, has there ever been two family members as traitors?
Good question.
I don't know.
Not that I've ever haven't seen all the.
Not that I've ever seen, but like because the chances of it happening are actually slim to none.
Oh, in this? Oh yeah, an incredible series of circumstances to lead to.
It's epic.
Just him.
And
recruiting his son.
Like they've done this silly thing where they say he can either accept or be murdered, and they're meeting in person.
Stupid.
They did
as
it
if
in the
anyone's going to get murdered.
Like as if you're going to get it's your dad's your fellow traitor. Now it could go wrong if it wasn't your dad and it was a different traitor. Like if it was Eamon, I'd be like, you're just going to backstab me. But like
they've basically, the show is pretending that they've given someone free will when really they're just tapping them on the shoulder like they did in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like what these two will do together, I can't believe we have to wait till Sunday now to watch it.
Well, what do you think? So I think it'll be an interesting dynamic because
so on Sunday they're all going to arrive to breakfast and they'll know someone's been recruited.
Yeah.
And they'll know because there can't be with just one traitor.
I don't think they'll suspect Andrew.
They'll know you literally can't have one traitor. Like there always has to be two. So there's no option.
So they might think Nick. They might think they went back to Nick, whoever's left.
I don't know who they're going to think. Like, honestly, if I was Paddy and I hadn't picked Andrew, do you know who I would have picked?
Who?
Owen.
Oh,
because she's so clever.
And she's even so faithful.
Yeah, I just don't think anyone would. Or, yeah, but I think...
Oh my God, that's a great choice.
Keep her cool. Whereas if you picked another really obvious faithful like Kelly, she's just... I don't know. I just feel like Owen could keep her cool a bit better. And also, everyone really will trust Oya now because she's already named two traitors.
Yeah, exactly.
So she'll be like the traitor whisperer, you know. Yeah. But thank you everyone who's messaged in about traitors this week. We're having such a laugh watching it. And remember, these people are all playing game and it's fun to analyse their strategy and what they're up to. But don't take it anywhere beyond that. Dave, predictions. Will Eamon and Andrew win the game together? I don't think so because I think still one of them will end up getting banished.
One of them's going to get caught. Yeah. Someone else will get recruited. I don't know if Paddy can make it to the end. There's a lot of heat on him. Yeah. Nick made an offhand comment that his face was on one of the logos in the casino. Like I think they've a bit like the Caitlin thing. I think a lot of them have accepted that Paddy's probably a traitor. So I think Andrew could.
I think Andrew could get to the end
with someone else.
It's really awful at the end. Say if he got there with like one other person he's friends with who's a faithful and he's a traitor. That's so awful when that happens. And then the faithful like puts their faith in you and then you have to be like, I'm a traitor. Like it's so rough. You're
basically stealing.
But anyway, I think there's only 4 episodes left. I think there's only 10 episodes. What a laugh. I love that everyone in Ireland's talking about it.
It was 12, no?
Oh, maybe. I hope so. Proper water cooler TV. Absolutely buzzing to watch it. And see you next week.
So message us at the Cinemile or email us thecinemaile@gmail.com if you want to talk to us, or head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/the Cinemile, where we cover a lot of other TV shows. And we are going to watch a movie. It's looking like every month we watch a retro movie. This month it's Swap Movies and 13 Going on 30.
I think 13 on 30 is going to win.
Running away with it.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that with us, head over there.
Yeah, come over to Instagram, which is where we mainly hang out on socials. And finally, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a rating wherever you listen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.